Hello, John here. Still getting plenty of practice in with my gear before going on my thru hike in probably be late February. I was thinking early March, but I might leave in late February. So when I get back from this practice hike, I'm going to do a little bit of a gear review relating to gear I've already switched out because I've actually been using it on the trail, done a couple overnighters, and discovering a lot of stuff that I bought that I thought was going to work doesn't work that well. An example is, I have the Thermarest air mattress, and it was plenty warm for the night that I spent out here, but I've discovered I bought a long but not a wide, like a regular width but a long length, and have discovered that the length is fine. I'm 6'2", but the width, it's like I'm sleeping on a balance beam. I don't think I'm going to change that out because it's kind of a big deal, but I can't imagine how much more room I'd get with a wide. So it is what it is, but it was shocking to find out how skinny they actually were, which made it a little bit uncomfortable. Another thing I found out is I bought this blow-up pillow from REI. I'll give you the brand when I get back as well. And it was too thin. I mean, I couldn't. It just made my head and neck completely uncomfortable. I wound up letting most of the air out. I bet you I only had a quarter of the air that you put in it, and then fold it in half so it would be taller. I mean, once it compressed on my head, believe it or not, it was taller, but it was so skinny, and there was no like cover on it, no fabric, so it was the most miserable pillow I've ever experienced. And a little bit of panic set in, and I thought, oh, I can't hike like that. So it is a luxury item, whatever. I'm sure some people sleep right on the ground. Not me. So I bought this Sea to Summit. I think it's an Aeros. I forgot. I think it's large in size, which wasn't that large actually. But the bottom line is, it was taller and softer. And I tried it out the other night, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy it's not even funny. I'll show you that as well when I get back. And then I thought about, also I had this Arc'teryx. I'll give you the exact model of this also, but it was a mid-layer fleece more or less. And it didn't have a hoodie. It was about a quarter zip. It was an extra large. I put it on. I felt like a sausage. I mean, I wear extra large, but this was kind of ridiculous. And I thought, well, if I put any clothing underneath this, it's going to be tight. I'd rather have some loose clothing while I'm hiking. Bottom line is I got Melanzana hoodie because I didn't have any type of hoodie in any of my gear so far. It's also got like a kangaroo pouch, more or less, in the front. I mean, it's got, this front where you can put both hands, and you can touch both hands in the middle. Everyone knows that the Sawyer squeeze, if you let it freeze, it's no good. So of course, people would sleep with it in freezing temperatures overnight, but I've seen it where it's icy in the morning and icy maybe near the end of the day, and more icy at higher elevation. So I figured with the pouch in the front that I could put my Sawyer squeeze in during the day while I'm hiking and it won't freeze. I'm hiking in these Ultra Lone Peak 4 shoes. And I think I've got maybe 80 to 100 miles on them. And my left shoe in the back at the heel, all the padding and the heel has bunched up. And so all the padding that was in the top of the heel is bunched to the center of the heel. So there's like a ridge in the back of my heel where all this padding has failed. And so I ordered a new pair of Ultra Lone Peak 4.5s. I'm gonna try them. I'll see how they go. If I don't like them, I'm gonna switch shoes. I'm hoping I like them. I like the idea of the zero drop and the fact that you can feel the trail under your feet, and it sort of forces you to be more careful with your step. I think those shoes with more padding or the boots or the more rigid shoes, you tend to get careless with your step. I think these ultras force you to be aware and being able to feel a trail underneath your feet. It's going to make it less likely to like twist an ankle or something crazy. So we'll see how those Ultra 4.5s works. I'm not afraid to change a shoe either. So right now I have a base weight of it's right around 16 pounds. And I've got an 8-pound dumbbell stuffed in my pack again, wrapped in a towel, and a liter of water. So I'm probably carrying right around 25 pounds right now. Pretty happy with that, honestly. I mean, I've heard of, a lot of pack weights around 30 pounds, and I can't imagine carrying 30 pounds on my back for 5 months. So my suggestion, I'm not experienced enough to give advice, but my suggestion would be if anybody's got the really heavy pack weights, hovering around 30 pounds or above, I would really consider reviewing your pack weight. And if you're okay with being 30 pounds or over, put that damn thing on your back and go for some walks. Not one hike around the block, but go 6, 8, 10, 12-mile hikes, and a few of them, to see if you really want to be carrying 30, 32 pounds. So anyway, so I will continue this video in 1 second. Take 2. I've been thinking about my water strategy on the trail. What I'm going to bring is a small sized smart water bottle, whatever size that is. I'm going to take a 1 liter smart water bottle, which is mainly going to be empty on one of my side pockets. And then I've got a knock bag that is 2 liters that'll have, flat in my mesh on the back of my pack. So I'll have the capability of potentially at least going into camp with 3.5 liters of water. Now, I've done a couple overnighters. I've never come, even with cooking and brushing my teeth and drinking water, I've never come not even close to using 3 liters of water in camp. Not even close. So my strategy is to drink as much water as I can at the water source, and then I'll fill up this oh, look a boob, isn't that sexy? I'll fill up this half liter or whatever. I found that if I put a 1 liter smart water bottle in this pocket right here, since if I put this lower on my strap, it sort of starts tucking under, so you have to sort of mount it up high on your strap. And if you put a 1 liter bottle in, it winds up sticking out here, and it's always in my peripheral vision. And that's all I can think about is seeing this water bottle out of the corner of my eye. And it just bugs the hell out of me. So again, I'll have the capability of carrying 3.5 liters. I'll probably only wind up carrying this shorter smart water bottle, drinking as much water as I can at the source, unless I need to carry more. I'll use the Gut Hooks app and the AWOL guide to see how far I am from water sources, of course. So yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm going to share with you the gear that I've changed out even before my Appalachian Trail hike. I'm going to use notes. So the first thing I changed out was my mid layer. Before I had an Arc'teryx Delta zip. It was like a 1/4 zip and extra large. I'll insert a picture of that mid layer. And the problem with that was A, it didn't have a hood, and B, I got it in an extra large. I'm a big guy, but I felt like I was stuffed into a sausage casing. So there was no way I could have put base layer or heavy base layer underneath this mid layer and been comfortable. So I actually traded that in for this Melanzana. It's got a hoodie. The hood sort of bunches down and keeps your neck warm around the front even, and The thing I liked about it is it's got pockets in the front, so at night your Sawyer squeeze, you could sleep with it in freezing temperatures, so it doesn't quit working on you. And during the day when I'm hiking, I think I can throw that Sawyer squeeze in this front pocket, and it'll keep it from freezing. So this is a good one. Plus it's a looser fit. I feel a lot more comfortable in this. The next thing I changed out is I wanted some camp shoes. You know, I bought these Crocs. They're sort of big, they're clunky, they're sort of don't really collapse well. I don't know what to do with this. And so I bought some Crocs, but a different type of Crocs. They're Swift Water with a mesh weave on the top. And you can see how much lower of a profile they are. It's got a mesh on the top. And so these are really unforgiving and big and clunky. And this type of Croc is made with the same material on the underside. They weigh the same. They're still super light, but they've got this mesh that'll collapse all the way down. So I just feel like I can stick it in a side pocket or a back pocket or shove it in the pack, and it'll collapse down all the way. And they're still, you know, basically plastic. So another thing that I switched was the Sawyer squeeze. I got a Sawyer squeeze mini. To begin with, I actually tried to filter water through it. It didn't work really that well. The flow rate was super slow, so I got a Sawyer squeeze regular size. This will work a lot better. Another thing I changed was, okay, the biggest deal of them all was I bought a Z-Packs classic sleeping bag in long but regular width. You know, we're talking about $400 sleeping bags plus. So I got the sleeping bag. I didn't bother to get in it. I finally got in the sleeping bag and zipped it up, and I couldn't move my arms. I was like pinned inside, and I was super claustrophobic, and I thought there's no way that I can deal with this for 5.5 months every night. So I wrote to Z-Packs. I said I wanted to return it. They immediately said I couldn't return it because it was past 90 days, which it was, although I hadn't even taken it out of the package. And then I wrote back and I said, hey, listen, you know, I bought a lot of stuff from you, and I think it's not equitable to take the sleeping bag back. I mean, I live in a home with no pets. We don't smoke. I've never been in it. Hasn't been out of the package. So finally talked him into returning it. So I was able to return it, and they... I worked a deal where I got 25% off because I bought a few $1,000s worth of stuff from them. So by returning the sleeping bag, they took that $25 back too, which I thought was pretty flippin' cheap. A Z-Packs, by the way. Not super happy about that. Z-Packs, if you're listening, that was a little bit dirty pool. So then I bought an Enlightened Equipment Enigma long extra wide quilt, and it's got a custom color, so it's purple on the inside, green on the outside, and it's 950 fill, and it's in a long extra wide, and I love this thing. I mean, it's wide open, so when I toss and turn, it doesn't pin me in. My arms just go wherever they want, and it's funny because there's 2 snaps at the top and a tie, but when I first tried it out, you know, I put my feet in the foot box and I left all this open, and my arms were kind of falling to the side because, again, that Thermarest pad is like sleeping on a balance beam. They're super skinny. You know, wait until you use yours. But so my arms were kind of flopping out of this, and then all I did was snap these 2 top snaps, and somehow or another, I don't know exactly how it works, but it sort of encompassed me, and it sort of kept my arms in, and they didn't fall out and cut off any draft there was. And there's also 2 little like strap buckles, so you can connect it here, and 2 snaps on the top, and there's even a tie. So even though it's a little bit open, it really does work like a full sleeping bag but with a lot extra room. I love this thing. 2 thumbs up to Enlightened Equipment. I also was worried about the first month on trail. sleeping in a bag with no hood. I also don't have great hood options on the trail. Besides this Melanzana does have a hood, so I don't know if I wasted my money or not, but from Enlightened Equipment also I got this sort of hood. Hopefully I won't regret this. Hopefully I'll love it. I want to love it. We'll see. So we'll see how that works. I slept on a blow-up pillow from REI. It's called a Trekology. I'm not even going to bother to take it out of this pack, but it's a blow-up pillow. It's super thin. It was so thin it made my head completely uncomfortable. So I let out most of the air. I hope I didn't say this in the other part. I let out most of the air and then I doubled it. I like folded it in half to get it at the proper height so my head would be comfortable, and you know, it didn't have any kind of like sort of like fabric on it, so it was loud, it was uncomfortable. Once I folded it in half, it was small, and I thought, oh, you know, I'm in trouble because I'm going to be miserable on the whole trail. And then I went ahead and bought this Sea to Summit Ultralight Aeros in premium and large, and it's got a really soft cover on it, and so that was like 3.5 breaths to blow up. But this thing is a lot thicker. It's nice and soft, and when you lay on it, it brings your head right to the right height. And I mean, I'm gonna get a perfect night's sleep on this. This is my luxury item, and it folds down into this little tiny sack you just saw me pull out. So I also got some. I also got a Tokes cooking pot. The first one I got was 550 milliliters, which is this. And then I found out that I couldn't put my fuel and my stove in there without being some kind of ninja. I mean, I had to put it in exactly right, and then the lid didn't quite fit it on, and forget a little camp scrubby to clean this thing. So, and also this smaller one, if you wanted to use the Mountain House brand foods or make ramen or stuff like that, this would be full exactly to the rim, or it wouldn't be quite enough water to make any of that stuff. So I just got the what size is this? A 650 milliliter pot, and it's just a little bit bigger, but that little bit bigger of a pot makes all the difference in the world. A 750 milliliter was just too big. Takes up much room in your pack. It's bulky, but this I'm able to fit the fuel, the stove, a lighter, and a scratch pad, and get the lid on easily so it doesn't flop around. So I'm super happy with this bigger size. Well, I think that's it.